And every time you hear it, you're like, I'm not gonna bump to this song. But then you start catching a vibe. I'm sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
East Coast with the gang gang, West Coast with the gang gang, Lower with the gang gang, you know we don't play gang. East Coast with the gang gang, West Coast with the gang gang, Lower with the gang gang, you know we don't play gang. East Coast with the gang gang, West Coast with the gang gang, Lower with the gang gang, you know we don't play gang. East Coast with the gang gang, West Coast with the gang gang, Lower with the gang gang, you know. Yeah, whoa, East Coast with that gang gang. You know we don't play games. Whoa. Hop up on that wagon, oh please just get out the way. You know
What's
we
up,
stay
my
stuck
beaches?
right up in your face.
What up,
We
hoes?
sorry, not sorry, we just stuck up in our ways. West Coast go ahead, stand up. Put that glass and hands up. Gang, 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 we famed up. Got that change, we bagged up. True love, we stay manned up. Ahem, like I'm wheezy, yeah. Rap game just too easy. Drip so sick, I'm queasy. Whoa. East Coast with the gang, gang, West Coast with the gang, gang, Lower with the gang, gang, you know we don't play gang. East Coast with the gang, gang, West Coast with the gang, gang, Lower with the gang, gang, you know we don't play gang. East Coast with the gang, gang, West Coast with the gang, gang, Lower with the gang, gang, you know we don't play gang. East Coast with the gang, gang, West Coast with the gang, gang, Lower with the gang, gang. Yeah. Watch me finesse, walk to the line. Good versus evil, God in his prime. Always in prime, always on time. Our time to shine. Wifey is fine.
Here we are,
Fine.
here we
Glad that you
are.
asked. God fill me up, mud in my glass. God clean me up. All that I ask, wherever you headed the
Oh,
fast.
man.
I am ahead,
No worries,
you are
Mike.
the
I
last.
appreciate
Last time
it.
I checked, you
I
all
didn't even
gas.
think about
Gas in the
that.
whip it up fast.
I didn't even think about the laws about that. It's weird.
Getting all curious, you put me on blast. Blasting that Darius kids in the
Sounds
back.
like you gotta
Back to the
move,
future,
bro.
The future is black.
They holding you
Black like
back.
T'Challa, Wakanda attack.
Oh, good shit, Nathan. Getting started with a 90-day dash. Good stuff. What up, everyone? What's going on? Come on in. Now we're up and we're rolling. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, what's up, Michael? Afternoon, Kelly, Anthony, what's going on, fam? Brian Corby, what's up, dude? Amy, Erica, Yennefer Brown. Finally catching a live, no doubt. No doubt. Nips. 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 Finished the 90-day dash last night. Time for you to time to step up. We're going to be doing some master classes on what to do after the 90 day and give a little more content for those that are finishing recently. But it's time to go into the program vault, my man. Go into that archive and let's start leveling up. If you want, you can post up in the private Facebook group or in the community. Let's discuss where to take you next. Get that conversation going. All right, hope everyone's having a great day. Hello, come on in. What's up, Kim, Jason, Heather, Steve? Gang, 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 gang.
East Coast with that gang gang.
How many of you are always listening to another episode when this one goes live? I love it. I love it. Thank you for tuning in to the previous ones, Michelle. Which one are you on? Which one are you listening to?
Just stuck up in our ways. West Coast go ahead, stand up. Put that glass and hands up. Gang, 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 we famed up. Got that change, we bagged up. True love, we stay manned up.
I'm like I'm wheezy, baby.
Rap game just too easy. Drip so sick, I'm queasy.
Whoa. 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 Yup. 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 A yoga for plantar fasciitis. All of them, man. Downward dog. All of them are good. You don't do yoga that targets plantar fasciitis specifically. That's corrective exercise.
Always on time. Our time to shine. Wifey is fine.
I would check out the ones with the tennis ball, though. That might help you out a little bit.
My glass. God clean me up. All that I ask. Wherever you headed the fast. I am ahead. You are in last.
I'll make some more ankle-oriented ones.
Gas in the whip it up fast.
For sure.
Fast and all furious. I'm starting to spaz. Getting all curious. You put me on blast. Blasting that Darius kids in the back. Back to the future. The future is black. Black like T'Challa, Wakanda attack.
Oh shit, tore your ACL, man. Fuck. Oh, let's get you better, man. Oh Take a break from paperwork. Don't slack on things you need to do. I'm just kidding. Tune in. You gotta tune in. Well, when Instagram goes live, we're not live yet on IG. I will even pay you more money. It's not necessary. I appreciate it. And send more love. Hey, you could join the Daily Swole Club and support the podcast. Absolutely not required. Not required.
This is that one song that you heard so
for anyone that's listening, Daily Swolenormous X members, like there's so much more Swolegun stuff to come. It's just tip of the iceberg.
Sorry.
Got so much stuff coming. This year is gonna be huge. I haven't even given everyone the heads up of like all the stuff that's coming. I can't until it's official. We got really good stuff on the horizon for the fam. Oh, you are. There you go. $3. $3. Thank you, bro. Dude, I appreciate it. You didn't even have to give $1. I'll take whatever you are offering. I appreciate all support. And I appreciate just your ears or your eye holes. I appreciate just attention. So it means a lot, man. It really does.
Right up in your face. We sorry, not sorry. We just stuck up in our way.
Just a simple fact that none of you are in any obligation to donate. It means the world both ways. So, muchísimas gracias.
Rap game just too easy. Drip so sick, I'm queasy. Whoa.
I'm on fire today. Yep. Oh. Nips. Here we go, fam. Let's get this party started. 3, 2, 1. Making sick fucking gains.
The sun is shining.
The Therabar helped your plantar fascia. You stepped on it? I mean, that's good too, for sure.
Welcome to the Daily
That's for the
Swole.
forearms, mostly. But you could definitely roll out your feet and your... Testing. Test. Is this mic on? Of course it is. Testing. Testicles. Testicles. Oh, welcome everyone to episode 1033 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beercast, broadcast, gaincast, mancast, pimpcast, sleazecast, and slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What is going on, my booshes? Thank you so much for joining us live on Facebook, Instagram, Periscope, YouTube, Twitch, everywhere you are catching me live. And of course, if you don't catch me live, you can catch me later. You can catch me in your ear holes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, fucking everywhere. You can bang your eardrums with the beard all day long. You got 1,032 other episodes in addition to this one that you can catch up and make some sick fucking gains. So thank you so much for the subscribes, and thank you so much for all the reviews. I do really appreciate all the subscribes wherever you listen to the podcast. Really, I appreciate all of it. And I actually want to put this out here right now. I usually don't ask for this. Every once in a while, I make this a point, but now just seems to be the time to do it. So for those of you that listen to the podcast, unfortunately, on a lot of other platforms, you cannot leave reviews, you can't leave stars, you can't leave any feedback. However, on iTunes, you can. So for those of you, even if you like to listen on Spotify, if you do have an iTunes account, if you are willing, if you are able, if you are interested, if you love the podcast, which I'm sure you probably do, which is awesome, and I fucking thank you for it. I'm really grateful. I would love for you to leave a review on iTunes. It means a lot, and it really does help the exposure of the podcast. Of course, those types of things, the stars. Leave an honest review. I'm not telling you what to leave, but leave an honest review, and that type of stuff really helps the exposure and helps people that, get suggested. So if they like other fitness podcasts or other people that have beards that rant and rage about nips and taint and stuff like that, they will suggest this podcast. And if there's someone out there that likes to listen to podcasts about taint and they don't subscribe to the Daily Swole, do you really want them to go through their life and not hear what I have to say about taint? Like, is that something that you want to be a party to? I don't think so. So if you if you can, I really appreciate it. So I want to start doing something. I did it for a little bit. I was reading reviews and I was kind of using some of that for content and, giving shout outs and stuff like that. So I kind of want to do some raffles and some giveaways for those of you that do leave reviews, in addition to some other things on the front facing content. So there's a lot of stuff coming. There's a lot of stuff like giveaways and little raffles and stuff that I want to do. But that's something that I want to include. For example, people that are in the pool of those that have left reviews, pick a winner, this, that, and the other for t-shirts, some gears, maybe FaceTimes and stuff like that. So I would like to do that for you, and I would like to start implementing that. But bottom line, I would love for you to leave your opinion and an honest review on iTunes if you can. If you have a few minutes, it means a lot. So thank you so much for those of you that have done it, and thank you so much for those of you that are planning on doing it. Thank you. Thank you. What's going on? How many of you are first timers with the podcast? We are episode 1033 of the Daily Sleaze. Today is all about you, and I want to explain what that means, and I want to talk about some of the latest stuff going down, discuss some different options, some things that are on my mind. And now that I have you live, which is great, we can actually have a discussion and I can ask questions and see what you all think about some of the stuff that I'm doing, some of the content I'm putting out, some of the things you might like to see. As always, I like to do things that you like to see and like to watch. That makes it better for all of us. So I'm very, of course, as you know, I'm very engaged and I'm very into what you want to see. I do a lot of polls. I want to make sure that I am in touch with the audience and with all of you. So I know that I'm putting down shit that you want to pick up. You know what I'm saying? You're picking up what I'm putting down, that kind of thing. So if you're popping your Swole cherry, drop in the comments. Again, you can find out all about everything that I offer in terms of the Daily Swole Club, in terms of where you can subscribe to the podcast. If you're just tripping upon it now, you can go to swolenormousx.com, and that's kind of like the home base for everything, where you'll find like the blog, you'll find the memberships, you'll find the club, you'll find the podcast subscription links and all that stuff. So you can go to swolenormousx.com for the deets there, and the link's also my Instagram bio. Taint the same thing as the ABCs. I know, but taint's not bad. There's nothing wrong with some good taint. Nothing wrong with some good taint. You know what I'm saying? Nothing wrong with it. Brand new vlog, brand new Swole Motion is available on the YouTubes. So if you have not checked out episode 137, I have like every single playlist of mine is just in the fucking hundreds or in the thousands. It's just, there's so many episodes of everything now. As you can tell, when I do a playlist, when I do like a certain style of something, I just fucking do it. Like I just do a ton of them. So you have to put the effort in. You have to put the fucking work in. And today is actually a little bit about that. It's a little bit about putting in the work, a little bit about laying it fucking down. And I know that because I do so much content, a lot of you are hearing everything. You're like, holy shit, he just said like 50 fucking things. I don't have time to fucking listen to them all or watch them all. That's okay. I'm just letting you know that they're there. There's also a brand new audio experience that I dropped today. So those of you that listen to the other podcast, yeah, I know, 2 fucking podcasts, but that was a good one. So make sure you subscribe over there. And that's like really raw shit. So I'm doing a lot more raw, I think. And you can drop your opinion right here. And today's episode is really about this. So it's it's very congruous, if that's even a fucking word, congruential to the topic today, because what you are doing in your fitness, what you're doing in your life is all about you. And you don't have to explain yourself to anyone because they're not necessarily going to understand. And I want to relate this to my original point when I was talking about the content on Instagram. I like to make content. You guys know I like to make content. I like to put shit out there. A lot of times there's a debate in my head. There's a debate with what I put out, whereas it's okay, the quality and just the content, if that makes sense. And you can float some gorillas or whatever you're doing in the comments if you understand what I'm saying. Remember, I can't see you, so I don't know if you're here. I don't know if I'm still streaming and whatnot. Like, make sure you let me know that you're alive. But a lot of times there's that debate versus, okay, do I edit this? Does it take a couple hours? Do I wait a day to post this? Or do I just go and grab my phone and fucking record and boom, post it to Instagram? And today I did that on Instagram. I did a poll and I think it's like overwhelmingly positive, but it's weird because it doesn't get as much analytical feedback. And as you know, and I said many times, I don't do things for the views per se. I don't do things for the likes per se. And I want to explain this because this really does make a lot of sense when I explain it out, because they are important. But I want to explain why they are important and why they're not important. First off, they're not important in terms of a vanity metric, in terms of, oh, if I don't get likes, I'm not valuable. Or if I don't get likes or as many views, it's not a good piece of content. That's not true. But what I do notice is that those raw shot in Instagram videos, those inspirational things, or in the moment like I did today on Instagram, they don't get the views, I think, because, and this is just, I suspect, they don't get the views because of the distribution from Instagram itself. Because as many of you know, you've heard the term algorithm. There are complicated algorithms that go over a bunch of factors that will either show followers, the audience, a certain post or not. And I have a feeling that videos that are shot within Instagram do not fare well with the algorithm, because I'll post similar content that I edit and that I put, of course, I put text over it. And I feel like maybe that's a factor, but I get such an overwhelmingly positive response filmed right in Instagram. And I tend to like those better for myself for a couple of reasons. I like them, one, because they're easier to do. I can get it up. That's what she said. I can get it up faster. I can deliver it to you, and we can all move on with our fucking day. You can get it in the moment. So that it's easier for me and you get it quicker. So we both benefit in terms of, creator and me creating content and you. What I also like about it is that it's more transparent. I don't like necessarily, it's cool when I put a little music in the background. I have like the text underneath and I have a title and it's all like fancy and shit. And okay, that's nice. And I know it's nice. But that is what sets a divider. It puts a wall up between you getting more content and me creating more content, because I could film those all fucking day. What I can't do, what I bottleneck on, is how quickly I can edit them and prioritize them and get them uploaded. So I don't like the frequency. I don't like the holdup. I don't like the bottleneck effect. And I feel like we all lose in that regard. And it's interesting. And that's why I think it's the algorithm. That's why I think it's Instagram. That's why I think it's Facebook, because when I ask, hey, do you guys like these? It's like fucking 95%. Y'all love it. And I get comments. And so I think it's maybe something where it doesn't show as many people, which is why the numbers are different. And that's the only reason why I look at those numbers, because I want to make sure I look at them in terms of, okay, people are seeing this, people are liking it, but it's hit or miss, what time of day, this, that, and the other. I don't look too much in the details, but that's where I think it's more, okay, the actual app itself is maybe not showing it to as many of my fans, my followers, my audience, all of you, as the other videos that are uploaded separately. Maybe like the algorithm can tell, of course, that's filmed within this, that, and the other. So that's just, I suspect that. But if you have any thoughts or your opinions on it, I'd love to see it in the comments if you like those videos. I just like raw shit because I feel like not enough people do raw live stuff. Everything is kind of over edited. This is why I love the live podcast. This is why I love the engagement. This is why I love the kind of discussion, albeit a lot of times it's one directional, but you are a part of the podcast, especially when you tune in live. I like that because it is unique as opposed to what a lot of other people do. They'll do a podcast, right? And they might stream live. For example, some people stream live, but they don't engage with the audience live. They just stream it so you can watch it. And then other people just do podcasts and there's no audience engagement whatsoever. And I know a lot of people kind of shy away from doing lives. I, in fact, actually love doing live. I come a lot, this is going to be really redundant. I come alive when I do lives. I feel like my personality, my message, I love being in the moment. I feel like it's just real, and I feel more real and I feel more relaxed when I do a video. When I'm recording, it's getting better, but it's actually fundamentally for me more awkward because I'll have to record it. I'm like, okay, I didn't like the way I did that. And it becomes a little bit more neurotic. It becomes a little bit more fake, even in itself. And of course the editing makes the difference, and it's fun, and you can do things with edits that you can't do in real life, and you can give it more energy in some respects. However, there's a beauty to live. There's a beauty to doing it in the moment when it can't be edited. So this can't be edited right here. Whatever happens here is here. Of course, I can edit the audio after if I needed to, but whatever is done now is done. You know, if I fart or the fucking chair or the stool breaks or something happens, it's happened before. It just is what it is. And I kind of, I like that. It's like live TV isn't the same as it used to be. People don't do things live. There's always a delay. I just feel like it's more real, and the more authenticity and the more transparency, that kind of shit is going to win in the long run. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. I think that is something that maybe on a numerical or a visual level, like, okay, likes or views, maybe in the short term is like, a little bit lower. But I think in the long term, in the macro view of it, I think that kind of stuff will win overall. And the reason why a lot of people don't do them is because they can't do it or they don't feel comfortable live. For me, I feel like the opposite. I feel more comfortable doing live. I feel more comfortable in the moment. I feel more comfortable conversational, whereas filming can sometimes feel a little bit more stifled because it is filmed, it is recorded, and it's not necessarily authentic in the sense that, but of course there's a different purpose, right? You're still getting the message across, but it's done with the editing, it's done with like the storyboarding and whatnot. I don't know how many of you know, I don't plan shit for my content. I have an idea and I fucking film and then I edit after. So DWGs, all that shit, I don't film. I don't really plan any of that. I have a topic and I rage, but I think the authenticity is something that's going to win out long term. And so that's why, and you can leave your comment below. What do you think about like the video I posted? I'm really curious about that in words. I know a lot of you click the like button on the poll on Instagram stories. If you haven't seen it, you can go check that out. But if you like that style, that raw video, where I filmed it in the app, I mean, I liked it because, when I feel it, when I feel the message, when I feel something I want to like convey across, boom, I can record it. It's up, you got it. And then if you can't listen to it, right, if you can't have sound where you are, it's like, well, fucking watch it later or put some headphones in. I don't feel like you need to have the text to get the flow. I think you need to hear the fucking energy. So I like that in the moment. That's my thing. That's why I like the audio experience for that podcast is in the moment, like 5 a.m. when I'm at the fucking gym in the car and I have my thought for the day and stuff like that. I just like the transparency, and that's me. So this topic of this podcast, it's all about you. I want to translate this to the topic that is more applicable for you, but I wanted to talk about that first because that's my truth and that's what I feel and that's what I wanted to ask you. And, and that's important to me. That's important to me that you understand where I'm coming from, because when you watch my content, it puts it all into perspective. And I love it when I see, of course, there's all going to be, there's going to be hate. I'm not afraid of that. There's going to be negativity. That's fine. Some people think that I am negative in my content, and that's fine too. I have a lot of fun. For example, anyone that really takes my YouTube content seriously needs to get a CAT scan or something. Like if you think when I'm making videos about whether it's Brittany Dawn or anyone else in the industry, like if you think I have like a moral compass when it comes to YouTube, I don't. I talk about unicorn jizz and like anal fisting and all whatever fucking shit in the driving while gainings. I say whatever comes to my mind on that fucking platform. So if you take that shit seriously and you take my content from one video, yeah, you're going to think I'm a fucking psychopath that has to be committed. However, if you actually watch in context and realize, oh, this is just fucking entertainment, you come to the podcast for the message. You come to other places for the message. You go into Swole Enormous X for the fucking fitness content. That's the front-facing stuff. So that's my truth. That's what I like to do. And I think all of you that follow and you're still here watching and listening now, you know that. I'm just kind of voicing it myself, hearing myself say it. And, maybe for some of you that are new to my content, that will put some of the stuff into perspective. If you're new, that kind of catches you up to speed. So I kind of like to talk about this shit once in a while because everyone's coming into the podcast and the community at a different point. And yeah, so that's that. So I appreciate your comments and I'll check them out later as I go through. So I dig your content, man. Legit. Thank you, Catman on YouTube. Love the authenticity and engagement. Thank you, Will. I like it all, bro. Thank you, Nathan. At least we can't smell it, Jennifer. Oh, you mean the fart? No, I didn't. I said if I did, it would be caught. Can you imagine once we get to like augmented reality when something smells, you're going to smell it through your phone? I think that's one thing that we can just completely leave out of technology. I don't think there's any need to smell something virtually. Do you agree? I don't think there's any need to create some kind of like phone that gives you like 5D or 4D where you're smelling something. I don't think that's necessary. I mean, it's cool to have like a tactile response, but I mean, you don't want to be playing one of those shooting games and like you're smelling monsters, you're smelling guts. Like that's not going to be a good thing. I think smell is the one thing. We can leave that. We can leave that out of tech. I don't think smell-o-vision. Yeah, didn't they have something like that? We don't need it. We don't need the smell. We can go without the smell. I don't think there's any kind of content that would benefit by you being able to smell it, unless you're watching the Food Network, and that would just be terrible because you would just be hungry and just fucking engorged the whole time. Frank, I'd be the first to fart into my phone and send it to my son. Well, I've heard stories. My mom was telling me, like, my uncle used to, like, in the 50s, used to fart in a sock, like crumple up a sock, fart in the sock, and then throw it across the room at her, and it would work. I'm like, that's fucking science. That's like that's a fart sock bomb. Like, that's intense. That's intense. Like, think about that shit. I didn't even know about that in like the 90s. I'm like, wow, that's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. The fart sock. Has anyone else ever done that? I really think that's like a brilliant thing. That's like, there's some genius there. There's some actual fucking conceptual genius. Yeah, you crumple up a sock and you fart on it, you throw it, and it makes sense. You get like the air, like, trapped in the sock. It's fucking mind fucking blown. Everyone in the comments is like, holy shit, that's a great fucking idea. I apologize, ladies, if, you know, your husbands or boyfriends are now going to be doing that. Well, you're talking about Dutch ovens. That's a whole different story. I'm talking about like a projectile, like a homemade projectile. This is like in the 50s and the 60s. We're talking before, you know, you didn't even have cell phones and stuff. Yeah, we're talking way back when. Search Amazon for the fart cannon. I don't want to do that. That sounds like a road where you go down, you don't come back, like for a while. You don't come back for a while. You never farted into a cup. You don't know what I'm about, Frank. You don't know what I'm about. Let's not go there. I think we should stop this conversation. I think we should. People are coming into the conversation. People are just signing into the podcast, and we're talking about farting into a cup and socks. We haven't covered anything of real. Well, I guess we have covered some stuff of real importance. Anyway, shall we? Shall we dance? So today's episode, what I was talking about before with my content, and I appreciate your input. I'll check those comments later, those that scrolled up. But I want to bring this around full circle back on you. So let's turn the mirror onto all of you. It's all about you. Now, what happens that of course, you can imagine I fend a lot of questions. I get a lot of questions. I want to lose weight. I want to build muscle. How do I get motivated? How do I get my wife or my husband involved? I'm struggling X, Y, and Z. Every question you can imagine what I get on Sunday Fun Day. It's like that, but it's multiplied, right? So I get all these different things. I get all these different questions. I get all these different topics. And when it comes to your friends and family, usually the reason why I go so hard with cleaning up your Facebook, cleaning up your Instagram, cleaning up who you hang out with, your circle, right? T-Mobile, your 5, right? The people that are in your circle, those are the ones that are going to be inspiring you. Those are the ones that are going to keep you on point. Those are the ones that are going to keep you focused. Those are the ones that are going to either restrict you or facilitate you getting results. In other words, they're not going to stand in your fucking way. And the reason why I don't hang out with a lot of people, the reason why I don't follow a lot of people, the reason why I don't look at a lot of people's shit is because I don't care. I don't care what people, even my best friends, I really don't care what they're doing on a day-to-day basis. I hope they do well. I don't wish them illness. I don't wish them ill will. I want them to succeed, like quite the opposite of negativity. I want them to do extremely well. But what's great about my friends and my inner circle, like I literally have maybe 5 or 6 people that I would actually leave what I do on a normal basis to spend time with, literally, like on one fucking hand pretty much. We don't talk a lot because everyone's hustling. Everyone's doing their thing. They don't blow up my shit because they know I'm busy, or I get back to them when I can. And I don't blow up their shit because I know they're busy. Like everyone's busy doing their thing. And that's a beautiful support system because it's very positive. It's a very two-way street, but in the sense that there's no resistance. There's nothing impeding anyone's journey. If anything, there's going to be help, assistance, positive or good feedback or good advice, and then moving forward, which is what it should be. But a lot of you are surrounding yourself with people that are adding a lot of resistance, that are adding a lot of challenges, adding a lot of roadblocks in the way. And it's completely unnecessary, and it's on you. It's your responsibility to clean out the fucking dead weight and the dead wood and clean the path, right? And a lot of times I feel like it's because you feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is just one aspect or one way to think about it, because we've talked about this many times, but this is a different direction that I want to kind of bring up. It's hard to sometimes explain what you're feeling. Sometimes it's hard to, and you might find this, and you could drop this in the comments right now, what experience you have with people around you, if you have support or if you don't have support. I'd love to hear your feedback and your own personal experiences. It's hard to explain your journey to other people. So you can correct me if you think I'm wrong, or maybe in your case, or maybe not in your case, or give me some specifics, and we can discuss this openly right now. But it's hard sometimes, oftentimes, to explain, because your experience and your direction is really an accumulation of your entire life. It's all your experiences. It's all your education. It's all your wants, your desires, your dreams, your anxieties. It's everything that you've done to this point in your life, which leads you to your feelings right now, how you manage those feelings, where you think you're going, your current financial situation, physical situation, all those things. You can't really explain that easily in words to someone else, especially someone else that isn't in the fitness realm, like they're not doing it themselves or not taking care of their health. So you're going to get a lot more resistance. You're going to get a lot more, I guess, crickets when you try to share this, when you try to maybe explain your, I wouldn't say burden, but if you're looking for support, or you're surrounding yourself with people that don't have any support to provide because they don't get it. But I want to just kind of second what Vince just said. Of course, he goes, no support. Hold on, I got a burp. Cold brew burp. Oh yeah, there we go. Now we're on. Now we're hit the ground running. Vince says, no support, never had in 20 years, don't care. I feel good they can suck it. In reality, of course they can suck it, and they should suck it, and you shouldn't hold yourself back based on anyone. But the interesting thing is, think about your journey, okay? Even if you can, let's say you can perfectly, and this is very challenging if you think about it. Let's say you're trying to articulate, let's say you can articulate your journey, your goals, exactly what you want. Let's say you can articulate it beautifully, all right? You're very eloquent and you can absolutely lay it down. The other person or people, your surroundings, your group, or whoever you're talking to, be it one person or multiple, they still might not know what the fuck you're talking about because they can't relate. They're not you. They're not in your headspace. They haven't had your experiences. And at the same time, they're not required to. They're in no position, and they should not be held responsible to understand your journey and your process. So as much as it would be nice for the people that you already currently have in your circle to understand, you shouldn't also hold it against them for not understanding. You shouldn't let them hold you back. This is separate from not letting them hold you back. That's a given. You got to do your fucking thing. However, it's very easy to hold a grudge or to have negative feelings against those people as you cut them out of your life, or have some resentment for them not understanding, if that makes sense. And you can float some hearts or drop some comments if that makes sense. There's no obligation or requirement or necessarily the ability for someone to understand your journey, to understand your path, to understand what you want and why you want it. So the similar thing goes with me making a video, or why I say something the way I do, or why I edit a video the way I do, or why I have done something the way I have. Some people might not like it. I'm sure they don't. I get plenty of negative feedback on my content. Not as much as I expect, actually, which is impressive, but I do get pushback. But that's fine. People have every right, of course, to voice their opinion. That's fine. You can push back on my content. You can push back on my opinion. You can push back on what I say. If you don't like me when I talk about unicorn jizz, you can thumbs down, you can thumbs up. However, you don't have to understand why I'm doing it. I can explain it to you. You still don't have to understand. You have no obligation to understand. And I have no obligation or need to wait or to expect you to understand why I do what I do, where I'm going, why I'm doing what I do, why I'm going where I'm going, why I have my goals. Like your goals, no one has to understand them. And I think we oftentimes can hold ourselves back by waiting for other people to validate our goals, by waiting for other people or expecting other people to validate our ambition, to support our vision, to support where we want to go. But they don't have to. If that's something that you fucking want to do, whatever it is, whether it's your fitness, whether it's weight gain, weight loss, muscle building, if it's something that you want, that's it. That's the end of the story. That's the end of the road. That's what you want. That's what's important, that you understand it. And I think it's there's a gray area where you can actually resent people for not understanding your journey. I think there's that gray area, and we don't realize necessarily that we are holding resentment for other people because they don't get it. We just take it as, like, fuck that person. Like, they don't. However, it's not their fault. They haven't lived your life. They don't have your DNA. They don't have your experience. They're just not you. And it's that simple. As much of a complication it can cause, it's really that simple as, they're not you. You're not the same person. And you have to just kind of, like that whole saying, let it go. And you have to move on. You'll find other people that do understand, or that maybe support you regardless of whether they understand or not. And I hope that makes sense. I hope that wasn't convoluted. I think it makes sense the way I said it. But emotions can get weird, and it's very easy to, without realizing it, you can resent someone for not agreeing with you or not supporting you. Whereas it's just, okay, you might have had a friend for 20 years. And I think a lot of you probably have this. You can have family members your entire life, and now you see differently. Now you don't want to eat crap. You don't want to be lazy. You don't want to do this. And you have to cut family members out of your life. You might have a best friend for 20 years, but now where you want to go, maybe these two roads diverge, and it's not in your best interest to spend time with that person. Just because they were your best friend for 20 years does not mean they're going to be your best friend for the next 20. They were there for you, and they were in your life when perhaps you needed them. And then, okay, now it's okay to go different directions. And true friends know that. And people that really do support each other understand when someone's taken a different direction and maybe can't spend as much time with you or hang out as much or do. You have to surround yourself with people that are facilitating and not getting in the way. Right? Facilitating, not getting in the way. They don't have to be a fucking cheerleader. It's great. I mean, you should be surrounding yourself with people that you're trying to catch up to, that inspire you to do better. And I honestly didn't even plan this, right? It's just narrow my circle. Just kept on narrowing it down. I don't spend time out a lot. I hang out when I want to. Like, I enjoy my life. I'm having fun building this. I'm having fun doing the content, editing. Like, I found loves and passions in the stuff that I do more than I ever expected to. Like, it's a lot of fun. But everyone that I do spend time with, that I even communicate in text, they're all entrepreneurs, are doing their own thing. They have their own businesses. They have their own side hustles. Like, they're doing stuff. They're busy. They're filling their time up. And I see them growing. I see them working hard. And that inspires me to fucking put my head down and put work in too. Everyone that in my little circle is doing their fucking thing. And we don't talk a lot. And if you're one of those people and you're listening to this or you're watching this, you know who you are and you know what it's about. You know what it's about. You know I'm fucking doing shit all fucking day. A lot of you ask me, do you ever sleep? And yes and no. Like, I sleep, I'll take a nap, or I'll be up at 2 a.m. and I'll fucking answer some messages and I'll post. I mean, I'm all over the place sometimes. But that's just what fits the situation. I do my best and I regulate the best that I can. That's right for me. And I'm never a hypocrite. I'm the first to make sure that it gets out there and that I explain what I'm doing and putting into context. But my journey is my journey, and what I'm doing is what I'm doing because I have things that I want to accomplish or that I want to do, and it's going to take certain actions. And whether or not someone else thinks, oh, that's a good idea, or you shouldn't do this, it's like, well, then you don't have to, because it's not your life. It's not something that you will do. You don't have to do it the way I'm doing it because you're not me and you're not trying to go where I'm going. If I need to stay up till 5 a.m. to edit a video because it needs to get done tomorrow because I have high expectations, I want it fucking up on a Wednesday then I'm going to fucking do it. You don't have to do it. It's not your shit. It's not your channel. You can fucking wait till the next day if you want to. That kind of thing. All right. And I don't have to deal with that because I don't allow that to even come into the picture. But that's the kind of association that I'm making here. If you need to go to the gym on a Friday night because it's your time to fucking lift and you didn't have time to go in the morning because your schedule changed because of work or kids or whatever, and Friday night is now when you're lifting, your friend's like, oh, come on, you said we're going to go out and this, and you're like, well, fucking my schedule changed. Like, this is what I'm doing. This is a priority, and it's always a priority. We can do something next week or tomorrow, or I'll see you in an hour later because I'm going to do this first. I'll meet you over X, Y, and Z. That's it. That's it. You don't have to bend to other people's will. You need to set your shit as the top priority, and that is how you stay consistent. It's not just about doing shit when you don't want to. It's about making choices based on your priorities if you truly want those results. And a lot of people don't like to talk about this because it's not glamorous, it's not sexy, it's not fun to put off entertainment for work. It never is. But if you treat training like entertainment and food like entertainment, you are going to get the results of that being entertainment. It's not entertainment. Anyone that has amazing results, anyone that has amazing physiques, it's not entertainment for them. It's work, it's effort, it's relentless consistency. And yes, there are some genetic freaks out there, but fucking far, and fucking few between. That's why they're considered genetic freaks, because a freak is not what you see walking around every day. Most people need to put in relentless hard work. And yeah, there are different people that might have a different muscular shape or might grow a little bit faster. They might have different genetics that allows for X, Y, and Z, the stuff that we're still figuring out. However, that's not the norm. People have to work hard. People have to work really fucking hard. People have to make sacrifices. That's what a sacrifice is. That's what a sacrifice is. A sacrifice is not just like, oh, Jesus, he died for our sins. It's not sacrificing your fucking life. That's an extreme sacrifice. And I use that example. I'm not religious, but I use that example because you're all familiar with that kind of sacrifice, like sacrificing your life, okay? I'm talking about, hey, I'm going to go to the gym rather than meeting you at happy hour, or I'm going to go to the gym or do this or make my meals instead of going to the movies, or instead of watching Netflix, or you bring it into the kitchen, you cook, right? Like, you prioritize, like, you're doing this, you're getting this done. And if something else has to wait or be pushed aside, then that's what happens. And it's amazing that those little things don't happen often enough. Most people just succumb to, oh, I'll do that later. That's the mentality that keeps people from getting results. Because it's not just that one instance. If you leave that door open a crack, guess what happens? It's going to push open a little bit more, and more excuses seep in. And then it gets pushed off another day and another day. Oh, you'll do it later. Well, if it's okay to do it later, and then you just don't have integrity with that inner voice in your head, and you stop believing your own fucking words, and it's that conversation with yourself. You don't trust yourself when you say you're going to do something, because you always say you're going to do something and you never do it. So it doesn't matter when you say you just never actually get it done because you don't believe yourself. Your words mean nothing. And that's what happens to a lot of people. And that's where moderation kills, because you think moderation's a good thing, but it just breeds weakness, and it just allows for these excuses to perpetuate over and over again. That's going to keep you from really excelling. And you can make every excuse that you want. You only live once, or everything in moderation, all those things. Oh, it's only one meal. It's only one this. Sure. What, every fucking week? 52, 100 times a year? Only on the weekends, only here, only there? If you bargain with your goals, and you bargain with your passion, you bargain with your dreams, and you trade off too often, you're going to get fucked in the long term. That's just the fact. That's how it's going to happen. And it's really hard to see this with perspective in the short term, because that doesn't happen in the short term. Will a cheat meal make you fat? Come on, get the fuck out of here. Anyone that has ever thought that when I say that, oh, you can't have one, shut the fuck up. You think that I think, right? However, it's the mentality that makes you a little bit weaker. Yeah, for some people, it's catastrophic. For some people, they'll have one bad meal and it sets them off and they're fucking struggling to keep on track for the rest. For me, eating healthy is not a struggle because I eat foods that I fucking love. So I'm never on a diet. I mean, I'm on a diet, but I'm eating the way that I love to eat. I don't have to cheat because I'm going to go fucking have some heritage pork bacon. Okay, what do I have to cheat? What the fuck do I have to cheat with? I'm going to eat some grass-fed beef and some sweet potatoes and some roasted Brussels sprouts. And I'm going to have some olives. I'm going to have a bowl of like mixed berries and frozen fruit. And like, do I need to cheat? I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's, of course, this is my opinion, but I don't have to fucking cheat. I'm going to have bacon. I'm going to have, let's say, maybe some scrambled eggs. I'm going to have sweet potatoes. Maybe I'll put them in the, I don't have to cheat. My food's fucking phenomenal. I love what I eat. And that's why I tell people do an elimination. You have to figure out what foods react best with your body and then figure out the foods that you fucking love, that your body reacts well to. You're not going to want to cheat because you're going to feel amazing and you're going to love the food that you're eating. And then it's not about like, oh, I'm restricted. Diet's not restrictive. A diet is liberating because you're eating the foods that your body will flourish on that taste amazing because it's good food for your fucking body. You reset your taste buds. You reset how you feel. You don't have joint pain. You don't have migraines. You have more energy. You don't feel bloated. You don't feel sluggish. You sleep better at night. All those fucking things. You're going to want to cheat. You're going to want to leave that behind? Hell no. And if you do, it's going to remind you real fucking quick and you're going to get right back on it. It's not restriction. It's liberation. It's all how you think about it. Again, like I've said before, that you only live once. YOLO, right? You only live once. Okay, you can use that excuse and just destroy your body. Or you can say, well, you only live once. Let me take care of my body. Two completely different viewpoints. Same concept. So I encourage you to follow your own path. I encourage you to not worry about other people, not worry about explaining your journey and your reasons. You can if you want to, but don't resent other people for not understanding it because they're not going to, and they're not necessarily required. They're not necessarily going to, but they're absolutely not required to understand because they're not you. And that's important. Don't resent people for not understanding your journey. Just goodbye. Thanks for being there when whatever. And you do your thing. So if you're making the right sacrifices, you're focusing on your shit, you don't have to explain yourself to anyone else. You don't have to explain your journey. You don't have to explain what you want. You don't have to explain what you do. You do what you fucking do. And if someone else doesn't get it, then they don't fucking get it. And that's okay. That's fine. They don't have to get it. It's not something that they have to get. And that's what's lost a lot. A lot of people think they have to explain themselves to other people and that other people have to understand. And that's not the case. No one else has to understand what you're doing. No one has to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. That's not their responsibility. It's your responsibility to focus on your shit and do shit your way, the right way, by your methods for your goals and your ambitions and your dreams and X, Y, and Z. So that is my take on it. And I think that was some fucking absolute fuego that I hope you can spread, share the podcast, and tag someone. Share it with someone in your Instagram story. Tag me in it. I'd love to share it in my story, but share it with people that can benefit from this message because a lot of people are struggling trying to appease other people when they have to be focusing on their own fucking shit. So if you have not yet checked out the Swole Motion vlog, brand new vlog on YouTube, it's up. It's episode 137. It's the latest, most recent update on YouTube. If you're not yet subscribed, please go subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's at Swolenormous. Very, very simple. Swolenormous everywhere. So go check that out. And again, like I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, if you have a few moments, we could do this right now because we're heading off. If you have not yet left an iTunes review, it means the world because that's like the only place for podcasts where you can leave reviews and leave your feedback. And when you leave stars and you leave a couple sentences with your thoughts, I would love to give you a shout out. I want to do some giveaways and some raffles, so that will help your chances with that, of course, because I want to pick from the reviews. And also it helps recommend the podcast to other people in the fitness industry that may be looking for some inspiration, things that can help them out. And if this podcast has helped you and you enjoy it, go leave a review on iTunes. It means the world to me because it will help show this to more people that can benefit from the content. So thank you so much for joining me for episode 1033 of the Most Muscular Swolecast, Beercast, Broadcast, Gangcast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleevescast, and Slaycast in Israel. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Remember, you can find out all the information of everything Swolenormous related at swolenormousx.com. You can check out the blog, check out the subscribe links, you can check out the Daily Swole Club, and you can check out the full-blown memberships to everything that Swolenormous X has to offer, all at swolenormousx.com. I will see everyone tomorrow for episode 1034 of the Daily Sleaze. Peace, McGee's fam. Deuce, Magoose. Your boy, Papa Swolio. Out.